Look, after 22 years around engines, transmissions, service bays, and buyers who come back 6 months later either smiling or furious, I have learned one thing. The best vehicle on a spreadsheet is not always the best vehicle in your driveway. And before anybody jumps into the comments, let me make the premise honest. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 is not a bad SUV. It is not overrated junk. It is not a scam. Toyota's official 2026 RAV4 information, updated in May of 2026, says the lineup is now fully electrified, with hybrid or plug-in hybrid power only. The regular hybrid produces up to 236 horsepower with all-wheel drive, and the front-wheel drive version can reach a manufacturer-estimated 44 miles per gallon combined. That is excellent. In fact, Edmunds updated its 2026 RAV4 review on July 23, 2026, and gave it an 8.1 out of 10. Their front-wheel drive test vehicle matched the 44 mile per gallon estimate in real-world driving. So if your only question is, which compact hybrid gives me the strongest combination of fuel economy, Toyota's hybrid history, cargo room, and easy resale, the RAV4 is still one of the safest answers in the business. But that is not the question today. The question is this: what happens when the thing you care about most is not the RAV4's strongest category? Because there are 4 different kinds of buyer regret I see all the time. There is boredom regret, when the vehicle makes sense but never feels special. There is comfort regret, when the seats and ride wear you down every day. There is driving regret, when the steering and powertrain feel disconnected. And there is value regret, when you realize the vehicle parked next to yours gave its owner more room, more equipment, and a longer warranty for less money. That is where these 4 SUVs come in. Each one is secretly better than the RAV4 for a specific buyer. Not better at everything, better where that buyer will actually notice it. And I am going to be fair to Toyota throughout this whole list, because the RAV4 still wins fuel economy against most of them, and it remains the benchmark they all have to beat. Every vehicle in this countdown is also in our available footage library, so there is no stock footage problem here. We are starting with the narrowest case at number 4. Then we are moving toward the vehicle that beat the redesigned RAV4 in an actual back-to-back comparison. And trust me, number 1 is not the expensive luxury answer. It is the one a lot of Toyota shoppers walk past without realizing how much more vehicle they may be getting. Number 4. The 2026 Mazda CX-50 Hybrid. This one is for the buyer suffering from boredom regret. You already know the Toyota argument. Sensible shape, sensible controls, sensible efficiency, sensible resale. Nothing wrong with any of that. But some people do not want to spend the next 7 years driving an appliance, even if it is a very good appliance. The Mazda CX-50 Hybrid takes Toyota-style hybrid logic and wraps it in a vehicle that feels more deliberate from the driver's seat. According to Mazda's official pricing and packaging release dated September 16, 2025, the 2026 CX-50 Hybrid starts at $34,750 before destination. It uses a 2.5-liter gasoline engine, 3 electric motors, an electronic continuously variable transmission, and standard electric all-wheel drive. Total output is 219 horsepower, and the EPA estimate is 38 miles per gallon combined. So right away, I need to be fair. The RAV4 wins the fuel economy fight. 44 combined in the most efficient RAV4 versus 38 in the Mazda is not a tiny difference if you drive 20,000 miles a year. The Toyota is also quicker in most testing, and it has more useful cargo space. But the Mazda's advantage starts before you even press the start button. Mazda gives every CX-50 Hybrid standard all-wheel drive. It also gives you power and trail drive modes. The base hybrid preferred includes a panoramic sunroof, heated front seats, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless phone charging, front and rear parking sensors, and a power liftgate. That equipment list comes from Mazda's September 2025 release, not a dealer advertisement. Then you get to the road. Car and Driver published a 4-way hybrid comparison on October 23, 2025, using the Honda CR-V Hybrid, Mazda CX-50 Hybrid, Subaru Forester Hybrid, and the all-new Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. The Mazda finished 3rd overall, behind the RAV4. I am telling you that because I am not going to pretend it won a test that it did not win. But listen to what the testers praised. They called out the Mazda's nicely weighted steering, linear response, controlled body motion, upscale cabin, supportive seats, and confident chassis on twisting roads. Their summary was simple: upscale cabin vibe, engaging steering and chassis, and strong equipment for the price. That is the secret. The CX-50 Hybrid is not the best spreadsheet SUV. It is the better emotional purchase for someone who still cares about steering weight, seating position, design, and the feeling that the cabin was shaped around a driver instead of a focus group. I have worked on enough vehicles to tell you that this matters more than buyers admit. People spend weeks comparing 1 or 2 miles per gallon, then live every day with a seat they do not love, a steering wheel that feels dead, and an interior that never makes them look back after parking. Now the honest downside. In that same October 2025 car and driver test, the Mazda returned 31 miles per gallon during the trip, while the RAV4 returned 34. The testers also criticized the Mazda's coarse engine sound under load, its surging power delivery, and its smaller rear seat and cargo area. Edmunds updated its CX-50 Hybrid review on July 23, 2026, and listed only 29.2 cubic feet of cargo behind the rear seats. The RAV4 has 37.8. That is a serious practicality gap. So who should still buy the Mazda? A couple, a solo commuter, or a small family that values standard all-wheel drive, better steering feel, a classier cabin, and a more distinctive design more than maximum cargo room or maximum fuel economy. It is especially compelling if your roads are wet, snowy, or winding, and you do not want to climb into the top trim just to get an interior that feels special. Who should not buy it? A high-mileage driver chasing the lowest fuel bill, a family hauling strollers and sports gear every weekend, or anyone expecting the newest Toyota hybrid system. The CX-50 Hybrid uses a proven Toyota-sourced architecture, but the redesigned 2026 RAV4 has moved to Toyota's newer generation. The Mazda is better than the RAV4 in a narrow but real way. It makes the ordinary drive feel less ordinary. That is enough to earn number 4. But the next SUV attacks a much bigger RAV4 weakness. Number 3. The 2026 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. This is the comfort regret pick. There is a moment during every long test drive when the numbers stop mattering. You have been in the seat for 2 hours. The road surface gets ugly. Your lower back starts sending messages. The wind noise builds. The lane centering system keeps tugging at the wheel. That is when you discover whether you bought a vehicle or a daily irritation. The Tucson Hybrid makes a very strong case that comfort, technology, and warranty coverage can matter more than winning the fuel economy trophy. Edmunds updated its full 2026 Tucson Hybrid evaluation on July 23, 2026. They rated it 8.8 out of 10. For context, their 2026 RAV4 score, updated the same day, was 8.1. Now those are separate vehicle reviews, not a same-day head-to-head test, so I will not oversell the comparison. But the category scores explain why certain buyers may prefer the Hyundai. Edmunds gave the Tucson Hybrid an 8.7 for driving experience, an 8.4 for comfort, a 9.7 for in-cabin technology, a 9.4 for storage and cargo, and a 9.5 for value. The RAV4's comfort score was 6.1, and its value score was 7.4. 22 years in this business has taught me to pay attention when the gap is that large. In Edmunds testing, the Tucson Hybrid accelerated from 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds. More important than the stopwatch, they praise the smooth blend between electric and gasoline power, the automatic transmission's willingness to downshift, the stable handling, and a suspension that glides over rough pavement. Their words were that it approached luxury SUV levels of comfort. That is exactly where the Hyundai can feel better than the Toyota. The RAV4 is easy to drive, but Edmunds found its ride less refined than expected, and its seat padding firm enough to become noticeable after a few hours. The Tucson's limited trim seats were described as plush, supportive, and among the best in the class. The rear seat also reclines, and the wide door openings make child seat duty easier. Space matters too. Edmunds measured 38.7 cubic feet behind the Tucson's second row. The RAV4 has 37.8. That difference is not enormous, but the Hyundai adds a low liftover height, a flat floor, and cargo area levers that drop the rear seats without walking around to the side doors. Then there is the cabin technology. The Tucson's technology score was 9.7 out of 10 in the July 2026 Edmunds review. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, high-quality screens, multiple USB-C ports, clear navigation graphics, and available camera views make it feel like Hyundai paid attention to how people actually use the vehicle. And then comes the warranty. Hyundai's official 2026 Tucson Hybrid page, accessed August 6, 2026, lists a 5-year or 60,000-mile new vehicle warranty and a 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain warranty for the original owner. Edmunds also noted 3 years of complimentary maintenance and 5 years of roadside assistance. Toyota's basic warranty is 3 years or 36,000 miles, and its powertrain warranty is 5 years or 60,000 miles. Toyota does give the RAV4 longer, dedicated hybrid component and hybrid battery coverage, including 10 years or 150,000 miles on the battery, so this cuts both ways. Hyundai gives broader long-term powertrain protection. Toyota gives stronger mileage coverage on the hybrid battery itself. Now let us talk about the price of all this comfort. Hyundai's official site, accessed August 6, 2026, listed the 2026 Tucson Hybrid from $30,950 before destination. That puts it right in the RAV4's neighborhood rather than in luxury SUV territory. So where is the catch? Fuel economy. Most Tucson hybrid trims are EPA rated at 36 miles per gallon combined. Edmunds recorded 34 on its mixed driving route, although it also saw 39 or better during around-town errands. The most efficient RAV4 reaches 44 combined, and Edmunds matched that figure. If you drive 15,000 miles a year, that gap adds up. The Tucson also has a lane-keeping system that Edmunds found too intrusive at times, and the exterior design is not going to work for everybody. There is another mechanics point I want to make. The Hyundai uses a turbocharged engine and a conventional 6-speed automatic. Some drivers prefer the natural shifting feel over an eCVT. But a turbo, a stepped automatic, and more mechanical hardware also mean a different long-term complexity profile. That is not proof the Hyundai will fail. Complexity is not evidence. It simply means I would be strict about oil change intervals, correct fluid service, and documented maintenance. Who should buy the Tucson Hybrid? The driver who spends long hours in the vehicle, the family dealing with child seats, the buyer who values seat comfort, ride quality, camera technology, and warranty coverage more than the last 8 miles per gallon. It is also a smart choice for someone who wants a near-luxury experience without a luxury badge or luxury payment. The Tucson is not secretly better because the RAV4 is weak. It is secretly better because Hyundai focused on the parts of ownership your body notices every single day. Number 2 takes a different route. It does not try to out-feature the RAV4. It simply drives like the engineers cared. Number 2. The 2026 Honda CR-V Hybrid. This is the driving regret antidote. There is a reason mechanics often describe a good Honda with words that sound boring until you drive one. Natural steering, clean pedal response, predictable braking, good visibility, and controls where your hand expects them to be. None of those features looks dramatic in a dealership photo, but after 5 years, they are often the difference between a vehicle you respect and a vehicle you genuinely like. The 2026 CR-V Hybrid gives us one of the clearest examples in this entire video because 2 major publications looked at it from different angles and reached different overall rankings. First, Edmunds. On October 22, 2025, Edmunds published a direct comparison of the 2026 Honda CR-V, the redesigned 2026 Toyota RAV4, and the refreshed 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid. The Honda finished 3rd overall because it was expensive as tested and lacked features such as a panoramic sunroof, ventilated front seats, and a surround view camera. That sounds like a loss, and on overall value, it was. But Edmunds also said the CR-V was the best driving vehicle of the 3 by far. They praised its responsive hybrid system, athletic suspension tuning that did not sacrifice comfort, and well-weighted steering. Compared with the softer, more disconnected steering in the Toyota and Kia, the Honda felt like the driver was still part of the process. Then Car and Driver ran a different 4-way comparison, published October 23, 2025. Their group included the CR-V Hybrid, Mazda CX-50 Hybrid, Subaru Forester Hybrid, and Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. The Honda finished first. The RAV4 finished second. Car and Driver praised the CR-V's smooth linear acceleration, quiet cabin, spacious and stylish interior, and consistent behavior across normal roads, highways, and twisting sections. In their instrumented testing, the Honda and Toyota both reached 60 miles per hour in 7.1 seconds, but the Honda was quieter. Car and Driver measured 72 decibels at full throttle in the CR-V, and it was also 1 decibel quieter than the RAV4 at a 70 mile per hour cruise. 1 decibel does not look dramatic on paper. In the test, the editors said the difference was noticeable from the driver's seat. Rear seat space is another real advantage. Car and Driver measured 41 inches of rear legroom in the CR-V. The RAV4 has 37.8. That is 3.2 inches. And when you are installing a rear-facing child seat or putting a 6-foot adult behind another 6-foot adult, 3 inches is not trivia. It is the difference between knees touching and knees not touching. Honda's official 2026 pricing and EPA information, released May 21, 2025, listed the front-wheel drive Sport Hybrid at $35,630 before destination. It is rated at 43 miles per gallon city, 36 highway, and 40 combined. All-wheel drive Sport, Sport L, and Sport Touring versions are rated at 37 combined. So again, the RAV4 wins fuel economy. It also gives you stronger towing ratings in certain configurations. a bigger available touchscreen, and more available high-end features. But the Honda wins the part you cannot understand from a build and price page. It feels coherent. The steering weight matches the chassis. The brake pedal is easy to judge. The power arrives without making the vehicle feel confused. The ride is controlled without beating you up. The sightlines are good. The rear doors open wide. The cabin does not try to impress you with a dozen design tricks and then annoy you with them for the next decade. I want to be fair here because the CR-V is not perfect. The 9-inch center screen looks small beside the RAV4's available 12.9-inch display and the Kia's 12.3-inch unit. Edmunds updated its CR-V Hybrid review on July 23, 2026, and warned that the hybrid powertrain can sound noisy and feel slow on hills. The CR-V also lacks some features buyers expect near $40,000, including ventilated seats, a panoramic roof, and a factory surround view camera. And price discipline matters. A loaded sport touring can move into territory where the feature shortage becomes hard to defend. Who should buy the CR-V Hybrid? The driver who notices steering. The owner who keeps a vehicle for a long time and values simple, intuitive controls. The family that needs genuinely generous rear seat room. The person who would gladly give up a giant screen or a panoramic roof for a vehicle that feels calm, polished, and predictable every time it leaves the driveway. Who should stay with the RAV4? The buyer chasing maximum hybrid efficiency, more available technology, stronger towing capability, or Toyota's newest hybrid hardware. The RAV4 is also the easier recommendation for someone who sees a vehicle mainly as a long-term transportation tool. But for the person who actually enjoys the act of driving, the CR-V Hybrid is not just an alternative. Two separate comparison tests found a real advantage, even when they disagreed on the final ranking. That is why the Honda takes number 2. And now we get to the only vehicle on this list that did not merely beat the RAV4 in one category. In one major comparison, it beat the RAV4 overall. Number 1. The 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid. This is the value regret killer, and I know exactly what some Toyota loyalists are thinking right now. Kia, over a brand new RAV4? Come on! I understand the reaction. 20 years ago, the badge hierarchy was simple. Toyota and Honda sat near the top. Hyundai and Kia were the budget choices. But shopping with a 20-year-old reputation is how people miss what is sitting in front of them today. The evidence for the Sportage is not a vague online ranking. It is a direct comparison. On October 22, 2025, Edmunds tested the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid against the 2026 Toyota RAV4 and 2026 Honda CR-V. Same story, same comparison, same evaluators. The Kia finished first with an 8.7 out of 10. The RAV4 finished second with an 8.1. The Honda finished third with a 7.5. Edmunds said the Sportage won or tied for the win in 5 of the 7 scoring categories. They specifically highlighted comfort, storage and cargo, value, and driving experience. They also called its interior materials and design superior to both rivals at each grade. That is not secretly better because somebody on social media liked the dashboard. That is a tested result. Let us break down why. First, space. Edmunds updated its full Sportage Hybrid review on July 23, 2026, and measured 39.5 cubic feet of cargo behind the second row and 73.7 with the seats folded. The RAV4 has 37.8 and 70.4. The Kia also provides 41.3 inches of rear legroom. The RAV4 has 37.8. That means the Sportage gives you roughly 3.5 extra inches for rear seat legs and more cargo room, both with the seats up and down. The cargo floor is wide and flat, and you can drop the rear seats using levers in the hatch area. For parents, dog owners, airport runs, and road trips, that difference is not theoretical. It is the difference between rearranging everything and closing the hatch on the first try. Second, equipment. Edmunds' August 25, 2025 First Drive report said the 2026 Sportage Hybrid came standard with a 12.3-inch touchscreen, wireless smartphone integration, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, front and rear parking sensors, LED lighting, and multiple drive modes. Higher trims can add ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, a heated steering wheel, a head-up display, panoramic sunroof, blind spot camera views, a surround view system, remote parking, and highway lane change assistance. The RAV4 offers excellent technology too, including Toyota Safety Sense 4.0, a standard digital gauge cluster, an available 12.9-inch touchscreen, and an integrated dash camera. Toyota is not asleep here, but trim for trim, the Kia often gives you more visible equipment for the money. Third, price. Kia's official pricing announcement dated July 30th, 2025, listed the 2026 Sportage Hybrid LX at $30,490 before destination. The official Toyota site, accessed August 6, 2026, listed the RAV4 LE at $31,900 before destination. That is a $1,410 starting price advantage before destination fees. And remember, the Kia is not giving you a smaller vehicle. It gives you more rear legroom and more cargo room. Fourth, warranty. The Sportage Hybrid carries a 5-year or 60,000-mile basic warranty, a 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain warranty for the original owner, and 10-year or 100,000-mile hybrid battery coverage. Edmunds confirmed those terms in its July 2026 review and also noted 5 years or 60,000 miles of roadside assistance. Toyota answers with shorter basic and powertrain terms, but longer hybrid battery mileage coverage at 10 years or 150,000 miles. Again, I want to show both sides. Fifth, the way it drives. The Kia uses a turbocharged 1.6-liter engine, an electric motor, and a 6-speed automatic. Edmunds' August 2025 first drive reported 232 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque. They liked the progressive, familiar way the transmission builds speed instead of the rubber band sensation some drivers associate with an eCVT. Their July 2026 full review praised the Sportage's smooth ride, accurate steering, firm brake pedal, quiet cabin, and easy highway passing. It is not a sports SUV, it is simply well-sorted. Now the RAV4 lands a heavy counterpunch. Fuel economy. The front-wheel drive Sportage Hybrid can reach 42 miles per gallon combined. All-wheel drive versions fall to 35 combined. The RAV4 can reach 44 combined with front-wheel drive, and even many all-wheel drive versions are around 42. That means the Kia's best version stays close, but the all-wheel drive Kia gives up a meaningful amount of efficiency. If you need AWD and drive huge annual mileage, the Toyota can save real fuel. The Sportage also has one control design I do not love. Its touch-sensitive panel switches between climate and media functions. Edmunds called it awkward at first. I agree with the principle. One control should do one obvious job. Making a temperature knob become a volume knob depending on a mode is clever in a showroom and occasionally irritating in traffic. And here is the mechanical honesty. The Kia's turbocharged engine and conventional automatic give it a driving feel some people prefer, but Toyota's naturally aspirated hybrid and eCVT are simpler in concept. I am not going to claim that the Kia is less reliable without long-term 2026 data. That would be speculation. I will say that any turbocharged hybrid deserves disciplined oil service, correct viscosity, and no excuses about extended intervals. So who should buy the Sportage Hybrid over the RAV4? A family that needs rear seat and cargo room, a buyer who values visible features, cabin quality, and warranty coverage. Someone who wants the vehicle to feel expensive without buying the most expensive trim. And especially a shopper who is willing to compare actual equipment and transaction price instead of buying a badge from memory. Who should choose the RAV4 instead? The high-mileage driver. The buyer prioritizing the newest Toyota hybrid system. The owner who wants the strongest battery mileage warranty, better AWD fuel economy, higher available towing capacity, and the confidence that comes from Toyota's enormous hybrid fleet history. This is not a humiliation for the RAV4. The Toyota is excellent, but the Sportage Hybrid is the most broadly convincing alternative because its advantage is not limited to one emotional preference. It gives you more space, more standard equipment, longer basic and powertrain coverage, a lower starting price, and an independent head-to-head victory. That is why it is number 1. So let us bring this all the way back to the honest question. Are these 4 hybrid SUVs universally better than the 2026 Toyota RAV4? No. Anybody telling you that one vehicle is better for every buyer is either selling something or not listening. The Mazda CX-50 Hybrid is better for the person who wants standard all-wheel drive, sharper steering, and a cabin with more personality, even if it sacrifices cargo room and fuel economy. The Hyundai Tucson Hybrid is better for the driver who values seat comfort, ride quality, technology, and long warranty coverage more than winning the miles per gallon contest. The Honda CR-V Hybrid is better for the person who notices steering, quietness, rear seat room, and the way every control works together. Car and Driver put it ahead of the RAV4. Edmunds ranked it lower overall, but still called it the best driving vehicle of the comparison by far. That disagreement is useful because it tells you exactly what the Honda does well. And the Kia Sportage Hybrid is the strongest all-around challenger. It beat the RAV4 in Edmunds' direct 2026 comparison, gives you more passenger and cargo space, starts for less money before destination, and backs the powertrain with longer coverage. The RAV4 still owns the fuel economy crown in this group. It still has the newest Toyota hybrid system. It still offers excellent technology, strong cargo utility, and the kind of ownership reputation competitors would love to borrow. But the best purchase is not the vehicle with the most famous answer. It is the vehicle whose strengths match the way you actually live. So here is the question I genuinely want you to answer. Would you take the RAV4's efficiency and Toyota history, the CR-V's driving feel, the Tucson's comfort, the Mazda's personality, or the Sportage's space and value? And what matters most in your decision? Fuel economy, long-term warranty, comfort, cargo room, or the way the vehicle feels from behind the wheel?